a selling opportunity on a term policy. One is same coverage for less. That's a simple question in a field training. If we can get you the same coverage, Mia, but for less, would you be open? Another sales opportunity is if we can get you more coverage for the same amount. LaDonche, we did for Mr. Sharkey, it was, he had a term policy with one company for, he had a term company, it was a total of $165,000 in coverage, $85,000 on one, $80,000 on the other. So it was, I think, $165,000 in coverage, and with two different companies. And he had a 10-year policy on one, a 15-year policy on the other. So he had two terms, one for 80, one for 85. One was for 10 years, one was for 15 years. When we illustrated that product, I said, well, let's see how much one policy for that total amount of 165 would be for just 15 years. I could have said, let me quote you a 10-year product, let me quote you a 15-year product. If the cost of doing it that way, if by me merging the two policies, that 10-year product and that 15-year product, and this one was for like $80,000 and this one was for like $85,000, and he was paying 100 and his was 128. Okay. So what I start with in the beginning is just simple question. Hey, if we can get you the same coverage for less, would you be open? He says, yeah, sure, why not? So we ran the illustration. This came out to, and now I didn't run a 10-year and a 15-year term because I also want to improve the policy that he has. So I just ran one policy for 15 years for $165,000, and it came out to $97.15. So what happened? He got the same coverage, no loss in coverage. On this one, he got 5 more additional years, and he saved how much? Can you give me the exact dollar amount he saved? $30.85? Okay. So I said, hey, sir, we can get you this for $97.15. This is at standard. He takes high blood pressure medication, but it's under control. And based on his age being 61 years old, the insurance companies don't downgrade that. They say, hey, if it's under control, it's okay because of the age. You could still get a preferred rating. Now, he could get preferred plus. If he gets preferred plus, which is not expected, by the way, because he's taking a medication. So I ran it here where I think he will get approved. And I said, so this is how much the quote is. There are also certain administrative costs. So naturally, if you have 2 cars you got to do an oil change on, you're going to have to pay 2 oil changes. But if you only got 1 car, now you only got to pay for 1 oil change. So naturally, if we just went from one policy from 2 to 1, there's less cost for a company on administrative fees. Does that make sense? So I'm going to save him money merging them. I'm going to save money. There's a potential savings on admin fees. This is also very important when you're converting term policies or illustrating term policies or permanent policies. When you buy life insurance, you're buying a $1,000 unit. So if you say, hey, I have $100,000 of life insurance, you think you have $100,000 of life insurance, which you do, but you really have $100,000 units, okay? That's how it's priced. So there's a price per unit. So why do we love buying in Costco? Because when we buy in bulk, we get a what? Okay, so when you cross normally 250,000, for some companies it's 250,001. The moment you cross that, you now start getting a discount per unit. Did we get a discount on the price per unit here? No. Because why? Correct. We didn't cross the 250 and $1. It's still under that, so we didn't get a discount. Now, I ran him a quote, and I said, hey, let's just see if you want to consider 250 in coverage. And I'm trying to teach him this concept. I said, you could get a discount. He says, that doesn't make sense to me. I said, let me just go run you another number. I think we did like 212 or something. This one here was more expensive than this one here, even though this one is more. So if you ever sit with a client and they have multiple policies with multiple companies, sometimes you can get them a discount by just combining them. So here, let me tell you a sales opportunity, okay? I now take the savings and I divide it into the new cost. Because he may look at this and say, dude, $30 to go through this whole process of like having to get new insurance and do all this. It's not, dude, it's just $30. I don't divide it into the old cost. I don't divide it into what he was paying. I divide it into the new cost because I want to show him how much more he's already paying versus what he could be paying. If I do it on this number, I'm showing him his savings. If I do it on this number, I'm showing him how much more cost he has. This one's more painful, okay, because it's a higher number. So what is the math when you take 30 divided by 85? $30.85 divided by 97.15. 0.31, so that's the decimal. 7.5. Okay, now we got that as a decimal. To move it as a percentage, I'm just going to multiply it times 100 or move this over twice. Whenever you have a decimal, if you want to convert it to percentage, multiply it by 100. Now this is how you structure this question. Question for you, if we can get you the same amount of coverage, add additional time on it, save you $30.85, which is a savings of 31%, would you be open? It's very hard to say no to that. The dollar amount on this term policy does not matter. The concept that you understand how to ask that question on any policy is what matters here. And add living benefits because right now you don't have any.